Well, it looks like Disney is once again ignoring my solid advice and not capitalizing on the connected cartoon universe. Instead, they're throwing more efforts into soulless live-action remakes. Their next victim is the movie Lilo and Stitch, and the internet is already in an uproar. As a quick side note, do not be a jerk to people who got hired to do a job. Do not harass the actress who was hired to play Nani. Give everyone a chance to prove themselves. I gave Rings of Power 8 chances to prove themselves, and I was let down every time. But that's another matter entirely. In this video, I want to avoid all the mistakes Disney is making and propose to the House of Mouse the Lilo and Stitch movie we need, but the one we clearly don't deserve. What we need is no live-action remakes, and we don't need a sequel because they've already done that in a show. Instead, what we need is the movie that was originally teased in the first trailers. A movie about a chaotic, cute alien invading other Disney movies. A tongue-in-cheek prequel that sets up the real Lilo and Stitch. Now, listen to me, this may sound nuts, but the story I'm going to outline here has everything Disney needs and wants right now in their movies. It's got the nostalgia, it has the member berries, the literal Disney magic, and a heartwarming universal message. So let's stop wasting time and jump right into this. The movie opens with the start of The Lion King. However, as it plays out, we get to see cartoon and live-action characters acting as set workers to keep the scene moving. And then we get to see Stitch replacing Simba, just like in the trailer. The director calls for cut scene, and there's a chase to catch Stitch. Once they apprehend the blue alien, the director says that this is the last straw, and hauls Stitch straight to Walt Disney himself, played by Tom Hanks or Olin Rogers, because the House of Mouse is too cheap to bring Walt back to life.
Welcome back, Mr. Disney.
Are the Jews gone yet?
No.
Put me back in.
The ghost of Walt Disney stays in a special studio, overseeing all the cartoon films the company is making, offering insights on how the characters should be drawn, how the stories can be improved, etc. He talks things over with cartoon Stitch, saying that Stitch can't just keep crashing other films. He knows it's hard to wait, but the alien has to be patient until the perfect story for him comes along. And to help that along, he takes Stitch on a walk through the studio to see if anything jumps out to him. As they go along, we see cartoons coming to life as artists and storytellers create them. Stitch sneakily swipes a bunch of drawings to use for later. Stitch then comes across the screenplay for a movie called Ohana, which is about two sisters trying to keep their family together after their parents die. The blue alien sees early sketches for Lilo and he takes some interest in the script. He steals a copy, but he doesn't choose any one film to join. He's way too chaotic, way too adventurous, and that night, Stitch steals away into the movie Aladdin. This way we can play out what we got from one of the other early trailers, where Stitch crashes Aladdin's date with Jasmine and runs off with her. This forces Aladdin to use one of his wishes and to go after Stitch. Thus begins a crazy chase across many of Disney's movies. Think like a 20-minute Disney version of Fury Road through multiple Disney movies, screwing up Beauty and the Beast, invading The Little Mermaid, having some crazy shenanigans in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, totally ruining 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood, etc. as Aladdin chases Jasmine and acquires all these other Disney villains and heroes who are now hell-bent on getting Stitch for crashing their movies. And Stitch continues to stay ahead of them by bringing to life all of the sketches he had stolen earlier from the artists. This chase finally comes to a head when they roll into the Black Cauldron, right at the movie's building climax. Gaston falls into the cauldron and activates it. The villains suddenly realize that they have a chance to defeat the heroes and join the Horned King. Stitch uses his incredible strength and intellect to defeat the various villains, but that's when the movie is paused. Walt Disney has arrived and brings out all the characters and begins sorting them out. All of their respective movies will now have to be remade since they've been thoroughly ruined by Stitch, which Disney tells everyone, hey, this is a good thing, because now we can do special releases from the Disney Vault. Huzzah! More sales! Stitch, meanwhile, is now forced to join the movie Treasure Planet. And he fits right in with Billy Bones' crew, and he acts as a pretty good extra. It seems like Stitch has finally found a story where he fits in. However, Stitch feels oddly lonely. The movie is great for him, but he just doesn't belong in this story. One night on set of the film, he reads the whole screenplay for Ohana, and he realizes that as an oddball himself, where he doesn't belong in this film, this movie is perfect for him. There's something about Lilo's personal journey that resonates with Stitch. So he leaves the set and visits Walt Disney. He apologizes for everything he's done, and he says that he's grateful for being given a chance on Treasure Planet, but he thinks he might do better in Ohana. Walt takes Stitch to speak with the movie's writers and animators, and after a bit of a discussion, they realize that Stitch is just great, and he himself is surprised that they agree with him, that they feel that he's a perfect fit for their film, a much-needed companion to their lead character, Lilo. The film then ends with voiceovers from Lilo and Stitch, and it goes right into the film's climax and conclusion. Lilo hugs Stitch and says that she is happy that he chose to be a part of her movie, but more importantly, that he chose to be a part of her family. The end credits roll, showing pictures from Lilo and Stitch the series, as well as pics of other adventures that Stitch could be in a rebooted follow-up series. And there is finally an end credit scene that shows all the other animated heroes and villains from the Walt Disney classic movies and Renaissance watching Lilo and Stitch and getting choked up on emotion in the movie theater. And there you have it, Disney. This movie's everything you could ever want. Live action, Walt Disney himself, Lilo and Stitch, chances to reuse your classic movies without making them into soulless live-action remakes. Some justice finally for Treasure Planet and the Black Cauldron, and it has enough mocking self-awareness to make all the Rick and Morty writers you keep employing to blush with shame. But seriously, the best Lilo and Stitch is the animated beauty we already have. If we keep returning to the well to redo the same story over and over again, it chokes the creativity out of everyone involved, both the creators and the audience. We are starved for new, inventive, daring, engaging tales of action, romance, drama, horror, mystery, and so forth. If we don't get fresh stories, it becomes harder and harder to recognize and appreciate the good books, the good movies, and shows that come along. This is why stuff like Murder Drones, Lackadaisy, Hell of a Boss, and more of the stuff that we see coming out on YouTube are captivating massive crowds of fans. They're finding that fresh, inventive storytelling that everyone needs and craves. And Disney, if you want to remain relevant as the storytelling company you began as, it might be time to stop your present course of action and consider what new stories you can tell. Capitalize on the goodwill that you still possess. Explore the connected cartoon universe, for example. Try out new books and fairy tales from all over the world that are waiting to be adapted. Earnestly hear the homegrown stories created by eager, daring creatives. Be willing to invest time, money, and above all, passion into these endeavors, and you will be richly rewarded. But hey, ignore this novice author to your own peril, Mickey Mouse. And for those of you looking for truly new stories, then I highly encourage you to check out some of the books I have published. I'm certain you'll find something that you love, whether it be the antics of a sandwich delivery boy in an illegal race, world hopping with teenagers while in their sleep, following a steampunk samurai fighting to save her family, or following a dragon bard on her first adventure. There's something here for everyone. And if you are a writer looking for a community, for some help, or for some writing advice, then please check out the rest of our videos here on our channel, and also head on over to our podcast, Camille's Harem. We'd love to have you subscribe and join us for this adventure that we call writing. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, y'all, tschüss.